Yo, what's up? It's your boy, Idiot Number Zero, Zach. How you guys doing? How you guys living? How you guys feeling? Back again with another episode of the Bases Loaded podcast, brought to you by the Idiots Podcast Network. I'm here with Idiot Number One, Adam. How you doing, baby?
You're bringing the energy this one, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm doing great, and can't wait to talk about my favorite position in all of baseball, in my opinion.
Hey, that sounds pretty good to me. So, look, we're going to get right into it. What we're talking about today, we're doing top 5 center fielders. Now, this is obviously one of the most important defensive positions on the entire baseball field. You know, something that's been a pretty big premium this last couple of years. You know, hard to find a good center fielder, a guy that's really going to, lock down that spot for you. So, we're going to get right into it, talk about our top 5 center fielders. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna lead this one off, Adam. I know I told you I was gonna let you lead, but I'm sorry, it's not happening.
You're bringing the energy. You've got the excitement. You lead us off.
Because like I said, I'm feeling it. So at number 5, I got Cedric Mullins. I like Cedric Mullins. You know, I like this. I don't really like this Orioles team. I'm gonna be honest with you. I want to like this Orioles team. I want to root for them. I want them to be good because a good Orioles team is always a fun baseball organization. So what I will say is, we've seen Cedric Mullins play the last 2 years. Pretty much play every single game. I'm not worried about injury. I'm not worried about health. Now, I do expect him to bat about, we saw him have a great first year in the league, in 2016. Really, that I would say that's his first year in my opinion, just because he never really played more than 45 games in a season until 2021. But we saw him explode. We saw him have a great year. Last year he took a little bit of a step back, but I'm going to be honest with you, I expect Cedric Mullins to be a great player this year. I expect him to be on pace to win a Silver Slugger. I mean, this is just a guy who, he gets hits. He finds a way to get hits. And I like that he's always on base. He gets it done. I really enjoy that about his game, and I'm excited for him. He's been a good fielder. He's not anything crazy great, but he's definitely good. He has a good range. He's able to cover the whole field, and I like Cedric Mullins. I like him on this young team, this young up-and-coming team. Maybe Aldi Ruxman can help improve his run numbers a little bit. Like I said, I like Cedric Mullins. I like that he bats near the top of the lineup. I'm a fan of him. I really think that we're going to see one of the better years out of this center fielder. I think that's going to be huge going forward.
I like Cedric Mullins a lot, and I do like that team a lot. I think that team has grown a lot. You saying it being a really young team, and the batters behind him as being that leadoff spot have gotten a lot better, just progressively. So I think he will have a really good season. If they are to make a wild card push, he's going to be a big reason for that. I like that pick a lot. But with my number 5, it's going to be my first rookie about this list is Michael Harris. He came onto the scene last year. Nobody really heard about him. He had to fill in the role of Ronald Acuna in center field, and he took it by storm. And he won himself a Rookie of the Year award for the NL, and had a great season, batting .297, was able to get 20 bags, almost got 20 home runs with 19, close to that 2020 season that a lot of people love talking about, and really solidified himself as a very good defensive center fielder as well. And there's only the sky the limit for this guy. He came from out of nowhere, not a lot of expectations, and when you're able to perform at such a high level like that, that's really impressive. That's really impressive for him, and I'm really happy for him too. He's going to be coming into his second year now at only 22 years old, and he's going to, in my opinion, have a really good second year.
Can I be honest with you, Adam? That this is a guy that I actually have a couple question marks about. Young guy. The Braves gave him some good money. Wanted to make sure they locked him up for the long term, but he's only played one season in the league. Has a lot of expectations going for him. I've seen a lot of guys who've been great one year, and then all of a sudden they fall off the face of the earth. And, with only one season underneath his belt, I had a hard time ranking him in the in the top 5. Now, I know he's been one of the better players. I really do. I completely understand that, but I just have a hard time seeing exactly how he gets back to being a top 5 player again. I just, there's a lot of very, very good center fielders here, and I have a feeling that he's going to take a little bit of a step back, especially with the less loaded, Atlanta lineup. An Atlanta lineup that's going to really need to rely on Michael Harris a lot more than they did last year, especially with the departure of a guy like Dansby Swanson. You don't have that protection bat anymore. Now you really got to be the guy to make sure it works out, make sure you score those runs and hit the homers, and really be that guy.
I have all faith in him. I really do. this team is still, without Dansby Swanson, I think there's still going to be a very similar team as you did see last year. And he's going to benefit from it a lot, being around the same guys, being a part of this organization that's really successful. He and in a center field position where everybody is a really good defender, you have to hit the ball to really stand out. And he hit the ball. He was on base almost 30% of the time, and that's really impressive. And I believe that he can do it again. He could keep getting better. It is only his rookie season is how I look at it. And I think for somebody like him, there's so much more room for improvement. And on a really good organization that he's on, they are going to help him improve in such a really good way.
No, I mean I see where you're coming from here. So look, we're gonna keep going on. I got my number 4 pick, and that's gonna be Brandon Nimmo.
Mm-hmm.
Now, really, the biggest concern for him is gonna be, is he going to be able to play 140 games? You know, I'm not even expecting him to play a full season as 162 games. I just want to see, can he play 140 games? Because if he's able to be on the field for all 140 games, there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to be, one of the most valuable center fielders in the league. This is a guy who's never really won an award, never been to an All-Star game. But what I will say is that he bats pretty consistently. He's a good leadoff man. One thing that I love about his game is that, every time he walks, he sprints down the first base. I love that. I love the effort he brings to the table, the energy he brings to a franchise. And really, from a center field position, he's one of the better defenders out there, too. He has great range. He's a younger guy. He doesn't have a ton of wear and tear in his body because of these injuries. And maybe this ends up helping him out in the long run. I really like him as a guy who flies around the bases. Now, although he may have, not a lot of steals in his career, he's always been a very, very fast player. 7 triples last year. Has had other years where he's had 8 triples. Like, this is really a phenomenal player. He's able to get doubles, able to get singles. He's a good all around player. He doesn't necessarily. I don't want to say that he's necessarily great at any specific thing, but he's very good at everything he does. So I'm very excited to see hopefully a full season of Brandon Nimmo.
With us being 2 Mets fans, we got to watch Brandon Nimmo a lot, who I too have at my number 4 spot. And yeah, our biggest concern was him getting injured almost every year for the past 3 years. And but coming into the season, I was high on him because everything I would see from him while he did play, every time he'd step up to the plate in a new year, there would be more improvement to his bat. There would be more improvement to his swing, to his stance. I'd see be pointed out a lot. And I kept saying it. I pride myself in saying this, is that last year, before it started, he's going to be a top 5 center fielder in this league. And I truly do believe that. And last year, having a full season under his belt, he proved it. He in the first half of the season, he was batting a lot closer to 300, being a really, really good leadoff player in a very good Mets team, which is really important.
He did struggle a little bit during the dog days of the summer, but
Yep.
A lot of players do. We see that, but this is a guy who did have a little resurgence towards the end of the season, which was nice to see.
Yes.
Very excited about it.
The 274 batting average last year doesn't speak to how well he was batting in the beginning of the season.
And even towards the very end of the season.
Mm-hmm. I really like what he brings to the table, and so maybe it was the fatigue because he's never played this many games before or in a very long time. So next season, I expect the consistency of the batting average to level out throughout the whole season. And if he keeps another full season behind his belt, he's going to be another solid center fielder in this league.
No, I very much agree. So look, I'm gonna get right down to business, right down to the brass taxes, baby.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting to my number 3. Now, my number 3, he's another guy with a lot of injury history, a lot of injury problems, and really his biggest problem is not being on the field, and that's Byron Buxton. I like Byron Buxton. I think he offers a ton to the game of baseball. He's a phenomenal hitter, a phenomenal fielder. Like, my thing is just, when is he going to play a full season? When is he going to play more than 100 games? He's only done it once in his entire career. If he can be healthy for this Minnesota Twins team, he might be the most lethal bat in the entire lineup. And this is a team that has, guys like Carlos Correa. Mm-hmm. Like, for the fact that this could be your most lethal bat and he doesn't even play 100 games for you is unbelievable. So if you can get a full season of Byron Buxton, he's going to be flying around the base paths, stealing bags. He's going to be picking up big, heavy hitter home runs. He's going to be doing a lot of things that really matter for this team. And really one of the biggest points for him is his fielding. He's just such a good outfielder that it's really hard to compete with his ability to field. So, like I said, similar to Nimmo, this is a guy that I think is a little bit more explosive than Nimmo. Granted, some of his numbers go a little up and down. You never know what you're really going to get. But what I would like to say is I think Buxton, talent-wise, is a little bit more talented than Brandon Nimmo. I think if he's able to play a full season, we could really get to see something special this season.
I'm going to be honest. I do not have Byron Buxton on my list, and for the simple fact if he just does not play, it kind of hurts me. But he's always had the talent ever since he got brought up into this league. But dude, you can't be. In my opinion, you can't be. You could have top 5 talent, but in my opinion, you can't be a top 5 player if you're not playing.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. I mean,
but
he
he
gives
does
me
have
Alberto Mondesi vibes.
Yes, but he does have every aspect of the game to be such a great player, and that's like that's the hurtful part about him. Kind of sucks. Everybody
look,
does root for him.
He's similar to that glass house, just like DeGrom.
Mm-hmm.
So, look, all I can do is just hope and expect these guys to be healthy. You can't ever expect a guy to start the year out injured unless they're already injured.
Yes.
You can't factor that to a player, before the season, before any news of an injury even happens. So that's why I had to put Buxton up there. I just thought that he brings a lot to the table, a lot more than you'd think. Excuse me, folks, and can really just explode at a moment's notice.
Very fair. I could say that's very fair. And I'm going to go move down to my number 3 pick, and I'm going to put George Springer here. George Springer last year, an all-star, but in some other cases, some people said he had a down year, but I think he had a really good year last year. And he is getting older now. He's going now into his 33 year of age season. So he might take a step back in some roles on the team. But I still really like this guy. He's still going to be batting around the 270 mark. He's got the pop in his bat to be hitting 20-plus home runs, 25-plus home runs. And every week I feel like I see him making another great play in the field. Love this guy. He's ever since he made the transition to Toronto as well, he has become a staple point of why that team is expected to be really good every year. And hopefully he can transition into just being more consistent. I hope he plays a lot more games this year, as last year he played 133. I hope he plays a ton more games so that he can really prove himself as still being a really, 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 really good center fielder. I like this guy. Hope he does well. Yeah.
No, fair enough. I mean, he actually didn't make my list. I'm not gonna lie, but I do like the George Springer pick. I think he brings a lot of value to the Toronto Blue Jays organization. He's a special player. There's a reason why they gave him a bag when they had the opportunity to.
Mm-hmm.
Makes a lot of sense. But what I will say is, going into my number 2 pick, I don't know if you're on the same wavelength as me. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. But I went with Julio Rodriguez of the Seattle Mariners. Man, this guy. So such a special talent. Everyone saw what he could do last year. Obviously, he won Rookie of the Year, Silver Slugger. He was an all-star. He almost won freaking MVP for crying out loud. He was 7th in the voting. Now, look, I get it. His strikeout numbers, a little high for anybody to really like. He had 100 more strikeouts than he did walks. Now, that's not great, but for a guy who's able to bat 280, 200. For a guy who's able to bat 284, the batting average, and have an OPS plus of 147, I mean, hell, he's almost 50% better than an average MLB hitter. That's pretty freaking great. I'm going to be honest with you, I like Julio Rodriguez. I like his speed. I like his power. I like, he's a 5-tool player. He really is. He's a 5-tool player, and his fielding shows, everything shows. And I'm excited for another season of Julio Rodriguez on a Mariners team that I really do hope can make it back to the playoffs. Always a fun Mariners team. Let's just see what's going to happen. Hopefully their GM didn't trade too many fucking pieces again, and all of a sudden they're in shambles once more.
I couldn't agree with you more about this pick. I do have Julio Rodriguez as my number 2 pick. He emerged as such a great talent in this league. So again, as you said, vital to this Mariners team. And really, as you said it as well, the only knock you may have on him is his strikeouts. But that's just, he's a rookie. Rookies are new to the league. They're seeing these MLB pitchers for the first time, and you strike out a lot. But whenever he does put the bat on the ball, he's batting 284. If he limits those strikeouts, if he gets a better eye, a better feel for this game, you're going to see his numbers only go up from here. And the stolen bases are there, the speed's there, the fielding's there. The pop in his bat is there as well. What more can you ask from this guy who is only now going to be 22 years old?
Look, for a 22-year-old to be considered a 5-tool player is pretty crazy, and I think Julio Rodriguez should be able to get that nod.
Yeah, you might see him become into that next conversation of those not Juan Soto's, but like Ronald Acuña's, Juan Soto's, that age of players that are spectacular talents that keep producing.
No, that makes a lot of sense. So look, I know we both have the same number one. Everyone and their mother has the same number one. It's undisputable who is number one at this position, and that's the best player in baseball. That's Mike Trout. It's pretty clear why he's here, and there's not even anything more that needs to be said. This guy he's a potential stat leader in every hitting stat known to man. He is. That's just the way it is. The only thing is that obviously, we won't see him steal as many bags as he would, when he was a little bit younger. We did see Trout when he was, age 20 season have freaking 49 steals.
It's incredible to
look
at.
For a guy to be able to hit this many home runs and be as versatile as he is, he has 49 steals in 1 year. Now, granted, over the last 3 years, he's only had 4 combined steals in those years. We're not really going to see him steal as many bags, especially with that back injury. But what I will say is I really do hope to see a healthy Mike Trout back in baseball, because that's what's good for baseball. That's what's good for the league, because this guy is so talented, so special, that he's been compared to Babe Ruth of all players. And I'm going to be honest with you, he's probably the only guy who's been able to even warrant that comparison, just because of how good and how talented he's been able to be in this modern day of baseball. He is the true idea of a five-tool athlete, a five-tool player in the major league game. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't even think I have anything else to say. I just think that Mike Trout is just such a phenomenal player. He has to be your number one, because he is just that good at every facet of the game.
You said everything on the nose. There's out of the, oh my God.
I might not have left much space for you to work here. I'm not going to lie, Adam.
It's just out of the 12 years he's been in the league, enough has been said. He's the guy. He's only going to be 31 next year, and he's entering his 13th season in the league. That's incredible. He's 3-time MVP. I don't know. I don't need to tell you guys this stuff. You know it already.
He's baseball god. What's the difference here? We already know what he is.
I can't believe it. I love looking at these stats and just awing at them. He's a beautiful he's a beautiful man. Look, and he's a beautiful baseball player.
He truly puts up MLB The Show type numbers.
Yeah.
That's what I will say. Those video game numbers don't just happen, man. But that being said, guys, we really like to thank you from the Idiots Podcast Network. Obviously we're working hard to, make you guys happy. So, because, obviously you support us and we support you. We try to make it work, full circle here. So, from us at the studio, Adam, you have anything you'd like to say to the folks at home?
Mike Trout's from New Jersey. Go New Jersey.
Cool. I fuck with that. That works with me. So, look, from, your idiot number 0, my name is Zach. We appreciate having you on. I hope you come back and listen again. So from us at the studio, thank you and have a wonderful day.